Okay, welcome back to another kidOYO tutorial. And this is part 2 of creating a profile. Now you can see I have my sprite created, and I'm going to actually name this costume. And when I name it up here, it doesn't name my actual sprite, it just names this particular costume, which is important because if we decide we want to have another pose for our character, we create that pose here, and being able to know which pose is which when we create some animation or a change of scenes is kind of important. So I'm going to highlight up here and just name it standing. Okay, so you can see it changed the name right here. All right, now I'm going to change my view again with this little arrow, and I'm going to drag myself down into this bottom corner, and I'm going to create a bit of an introductory screen. So my introductory screen, I have to decide from my storyline what is my next step. And in my storyline, as you saw, it has my main character showing up, and it has a few buttons on the main screen that the user can interface with. So now I need to create those actual buttons. So I'm going to do those as sprites also. And the reason why I want to do them as their own new sprites is so that I can program each one of the buttons I create to have a different outcome. So let's get started again, same way we did with creating the first sprite, by using the paintbrush. And we're going to just go ahead and create a series of buttons. I'm going to make mine rectangular. You can make yours however you like. Now, if you notice, if you look really close, there's a tiny gray cross in the middle of your design palette, and that means it's like the center. So you really want to try to design anything right there so that the program knows to always look at that as the center. Okay, so I'm going to create this as my button. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger over here. I can always change the size of it by using one of my growing tools or my shrinking tools. So let's go ahead and see how that button looks. Click on Scripts tab, and now I can drag this button to where I like it to be. So I'm going to have this as my first option that can be clicked on. Now, because I want to have all of my shapes to be exactly identical, I'm going to create the ability to just duplicate here. So I'm going to use, I can do a number of things, which is great in here. So the first one is I could either use this duplicate tool here, so I get a stamper, and I can come down here and I can duplicate the sprite. And then I can just drag it to line it up, and I can come back over here. You can see now I'm working with this sprite. If I go click here, I'm now working on that sprite, and if I click here, I'm working on that sprite, and you can tell always which sprite you're working on by this blue outline. So go ahead and create yourself as many buttons as you need. I'm going to need 4 for my project, so I'm going to try to get them lined up as best I can. And create one more. Feel free to pause this video at any time that you need more time to work, and you can come back and always pick up on it. So once I get these all lined up, now I'm going to go in and change the colors because I'd like them to kind of be color coded as well. So the first one I'm going to leave as this color. The second one, I am going to take my paint bucket and I am going to change the color purple. This one I am going to use my paint bucket and I'm going to change the color to green. And then finally I'm going to use my paint bucket and I'm going to change that one to yellow. Okay. So this is a good time to make sure that you have everything lined up, and let's save our project for the first time, which is always a really important thing to do. So to save, directly above your stage, you will highlight where it says Untitled and name it. Once you do, you can come across to the side over here and click Save Now. Okay, you're done with that portion of the lesson, so now you can continue on to the next part.